So I've got this top head slightly lower in pitch. There's not a lot in it. I mean, again, it's not exact science. You could do a third, which is sometimes, but I find that's too much of a pitch drop between the two heads. So what I'm trying to do is just find a good point. Just doing this for a sec. Snare comes everywhere. Sounding pretty decent. Again, what I'll probably do is grab one of these jellies and moon gels and pop them on here. I tend to pop them on where the mic isn't going to be. I don't know if it makes a lot of difference to the sound, but I'd rather have a mic over a clear piece of drum than have it over a gel. So I tend to put them at the opposite angle to where the mic is. Pretty decent shape. I mean, if it was on the kit, then you want to start looking at the pitch drop between the drums. I haven't tuned these up yet. So really, if this is the middle one, the idea is to have this as a middle tom in the 3 for a session I've got next week. So this is a 12-inch, it's 14, this is a 16. So they're naturally going to be lower in pitch the bigger the drum is anyway. But I mean, it's a fairly decent. So you've already got quite a good pitch differential between the 3. So so it's pretty straightforward. It's actually easier than the snares. But you know, there's a couple of things you've got to look at. As you probably notice, if you put the snares on here, you're going to get a sympathetic vibration between the snares, the toms and the snare. So you're going to get some rattle, and that's always going to happen. It's just the laws of physics. The sound wave comes from the tom, hits the snare, and the snare rattles. You know, so it's just, you've got to try and balance it up, and you can actually tune out some of that. So I'll try and show you on this drum here. I haven't tuned this tom up yet, but I'll just give this a quick tune. This is where you find you've tuned the drum a million times that you can just feel where it should be. See this, you get a nasty resonance on that, so you want to tune that out. You just got to keep tuning them till they sound good, really. It seems like a really obvious statement, but it's actually the best way to do it. I'm just going to grab a few more of these. So we should be, I mean, that's a real quick tuning on that drum. I didn't actually tune the bottom head earlier, but these heads have been on for an album, but the record I used them for, there wasn't a lot of toms on there, so I've left them on there for now. But I tend to put new heads on at the start of every record and probably change the snare head out halfway through each record. So we're doing a 10-song album. Unless the drum is particularly hard-hitting, in which case you could be changing the snare head every song. But if you can try and get through at least one song, there's nothing worse than having to change a snare in the middle of the song, because it's really hard to try and reproduce exactly the same tunings. So these toms are not in bad shape, actually. With the floor toms, I tend to have them as a bit like a bass drum, as low as they'll go before they sound too flappy. So. sounds quite well balanced now. So it's same principle on both these toms as I did with that one there. You just tune the bottom up, turn them over, tune the top head up, and then just try and find the right pitch drop between the two. I'm just using 2 toms here, so you only need to get a good pitch drop between the two, which you're going to get naturally because of the different drum sizes anyway. 12 to 16. You can really just pretty much get a good feel for it. Even just through the heads on, it's going to sound like you're going to get a good pitch differential between them. And then you want a nice feel between the snare and the toms. So a good pitch drop between, like up to this. So you want the snare to sit in the middle, pitch tuning wise. So it's all sounding pretty decent, really. So we've got our basic kit tuning set up. So what we'll probably do now is look at some mic setups.